Loch Ness Monster, and the most controversial evidence in history. For centuries, the haunting, misty waters of Loch Ness have intrigued locals and travelers alike, serving as the backdrop for one of the world's most enduring mysteries, the legend of the Loch Ness Monster. This sprawling, deep freshwater loch in the Scottish Highlands stretches 23 miles, nestled among rolling hills and ancient ruins, and cloaked in a fog that seems to hide secrets below its surface. The story of a mysterious creature lurking within these dark waters has transcended folklore, weaving itself into the fabric of Scottish culture and capturing imaginations across the globe. But where did this legend begin, and why does it continue to fascinate so many, generation after generation? To understand the mystery of the Loch Ness Monster, or Nessie, as she's affectionately called by believers and locals alike, we must travel back through the mists of time to the earliest whispers of strange happenings in these Scottish waters. The earliest documented account dates back to the year 565 AD. In a manuscript chronicling the life of the Irish missionary St. Columba, there is mention of a water beast in the River Ness, which connects Loch Ness to the nearby Inverness. According to the story, St. Columba encountered local villagers burying a man on the banks of the river. The villagers told him that the man had been swimming in the river when a monstrous animal bit him and dragged him underwater. Undeterred, St. Columba sent one of his followers into the water, and when the beast appeared, Columba made the sign of the cross and commanded it to leave. The creature, the story goes, immediately obeyed and disappeared into the depths, never to harm anyone again. For centuries, tales of large, mysterious beasts lurking in Scottish lakes and rivers were not uncommon. Despite these scattered references, it wasn't until the 20th century that Nessie truly seized global attention. In 1933, a new road was completed along the loch's north shore, offering motorists and tourists a clear view of the water. It was during this period that the monster made its most famous debut. The story gained momentum in April of that year, when a couple, Mr. and Mrs. John Mackay, reported seeing an enormous creature rolling and plunging on the surface of the loch as they drove by. Their account was published in the Inverness Courier, marking the beginning of modern interest in Nessie. It was the first time the press seized upon these stories, igniting a fervor that would only grow with the years. 1 month later, a British circus offered a reward for the beast's capture. The legend had entered the realm of public spectacle. In December of 1933, the saga took a dramatic turn with the most famous image in the monster's storied history. Robert Kenneth Wilson, a London physician, presented what would become known as the surgeon's photograph, an image showing what appeared to be a long neck and small head rising above the water's surface. Published in the Daily Mail, the photo electrified the public and transformed Nessie from a local curiosity to an international sensation. The photograph became iconic, and its blurred, indistinct form only fired imaginations further. Over the decades, many have debated the authenticity of the surgeon's photograph. In 1994, a sensational revelation suggested the image was, in fact, a hoax. One of the alleged co-conspirators came forward with claims that the monster in the photo was actually a toy submarine with a sculpted head and neck attached. The mystery of Loch Ness, then, is not simply the story of a hunt for a monster. It is a story of human curiosity. The constant interplay between science and legend, between the explainable and the inexplicable, has spurred decades of investigation. Throughout the 20th century, explorers, scientists, and investigators have deployed ever more sophisticated technologies to probe the depths of Loch Ness. One famous expedition in 1972 captured a sonar reading that seemed to show a large, moving object trailing behind one of the investigation team's boats. A few years later, in 1975, the Academy of Applied Science from Boston captured underwater photographs that some interpreted as the flipper of a large animal. These tantalizing clues would create surges of public interest, with each new piece of supposed evidence rekindling the flame of belief. Technology has only become more powerful since those days, and Loch Ness has been meticulously searched by submarines, sonar, and aerial drones. In 2003, the BBC undertook the largest and most exhaustive investigation in the history of the loch, using 600 sonar beams and satellite navigation. Their conclusion: there was no sign of any large creature lurking in the loch's deep, cold waters. But why has this enduring mystery proven so difficult to resolve? Loch Ness is one of the largest and deepest bodies of fresh water in the United Kingdom, holding more water than all of England and Wales's lakes combined. Its depth and murkiness, caused by peat staining from the surrounding hills, mean that light penetrates only a short way into the watery gloom. There have been numerous explanations presented for the Loch Ness Monster sightings over the years. Some skeptics suggest that many reported sightings can be attributed to misidentification of birds, otters, or even mundane objects like drifting logs or waves caused by passing boats. A favored scientific hypothesis is that Nessie could be a sturgeon, large, ancient, and prehistoric-looking fish that do occasionally inhabit British waters. Sturgeons can grow to impressive sizes, with long bodies and pronounced dorsal fins that, seen at a glance, might resemble the arched back of a monster. Another theory, more romantic but less plausible, is that Nessie is a solitary survivor of a prehistoric lineage, perhaps a plesiosaur, a marine reptile that vanished from the fossil record at the end of the Cretaceous period, some 66 million years ago. This theory, though captivating, faces severe scientific challenges. Loch Ness was covered by ice until about 10,000 years ago, and no population large enough to persist undetected could exist in such a relatively small, cool, and food-limited environment. Yet the absence of proof is not, for many, proof of absence. The legend continues, fed by eyewitness accounts through the decades, a boat tour operator who glimpses a dark shadow speeding under the waves, a tourist who photographs a mysterious wake, a fisherman who swears he saw something large and gray rise and fall in the distance. Beyond the question of cryptozoology, the hunt for hidden animals, the legend of Loch Ness is a mirror for humanity itself. Why, year after year, do people come from all corners of the world, hoping for a chance encounter with the Loch Ness Monster? The answer speaks less to Scotland's waters, and more to the longing in all of us for mysteries unsolved and worlds unknown. In the digital age, stories move faster than ever. Grainy smartphone videos and photos, although more easily scrutinized now, still find their way onto social media, sparking debates and attracting believers and skeptics in equal measure. Each new sighting becomes a talking point, rippling outwards in ever-expanding circles of rumor and hope. For skeptics, the non-existence of a monster is not disappointing, but rather a celebration of nature's other marvels, of geological history, ecological niches, and the quirks of perception. For believers, Nessie represents the persistence of magic in a technological world. The mystery remains undiminished after generations. Loch Ness holds her secrets tightly. The loch lies silent, its surface occasionally disturbed by wind, by fish or boat, or perhaps, just perhaps, by something more. No amount of scientific investigation has managed to draw a clear line under the legend or to close the case for good. Each year, the legend finds new life in festivals and events, where Nessie-decorated floats glide past smiling crowds, and children dress as the loch's most famous inhabitant. Nessie has crossed into the world's collective consciousness, more than just a Scottish story, a symbol of the unknown that fascinates and unites. What then is the true heart of the Loch Ness Monster mystery? Is it a question of biology and evidence, an ancient survivor holding out in the deep? Or is Nessie instead a living emblem of our shared yearning for discovery and magic? Perhaps it is both. Perhaps it does not matter. For in Loch Ness, the mist rises from the water, curling and dancing above cold, unfathomable depths. On its rugged, stony shores, memories linger, a lifetime of sightings, 1,000 stories told. Highland heather paints the hills, and the cry of distant birds echoes across the loch. Somewhere in these shadows, in the laughter of children peering over the edge, in the hopeful glint of a tourist's eye, the Loch Ness Monster lives on. Until the day that mystery is finally laid to rest, perhaps by camera, by science, or by confession, Nessie remains below the surface, sometimes glimpsed but never grasped, and in that she keeps alive something precious. The irrepressible hope that there is still magic in the world, still secrets below the surface, and still creatures yet to be discovered in the hidden places of the earth. That is the true legacy of the Loch Ness Monster, a reminder that the greatest tales are those that leave room for wonder.